You know what the commonest question I get on my Instagram page is, no surprises at all, is how much money do you make on Instagram? I'm an artist or an illustrator or a comic creator. Can I make money on Instagram and how? All the various buckets of revenue which I'm going to talk about are relevant for every kind of a content creator. So if you're looking to start your content creation journey, or if you're already a seasoned creator and have amassed a certain following already, see which of these work for you. Hey everyone, my name is Shubham Khurana, and as a bunch of you know, I'm the creator of Corporat Comics, which is a webcomic page on Instagram with over 210k followers and counting. I have been on Instagram for the last 5 years or so, and I've been growing my page year on year. And today I'm going to talk about 7 ways in which you can look at leveraging Instagram and your reach and your following to be able to make money for you to sustain your livelihood. A few disclaimers before we start. 1, these are methods which work for me. I'm also going to talk about the percentage I make out of each of these heads. They may or may not apply as it is to you. They may or may not apply in the same proportion to you. The number 2 disclaimer which I want to tell you is some of these are not rocket science. These are not 7 things you've possibly never heard of before. You've heard of all of these ways of making money. Thankfully, I'm not going to talk about courses, which a lot of people preach as the single biggest revenue driver. That's not a category which I make money off at all. The number 3 is that they differ by market a lot. In fact, some of the monetization tools on Instagram are only available right now in say 2 or 3 countries, right? The buckets and the heads are the same. So they're not going to be very different, but the money you make or the percentage that contributes to your overall annual revenue might change significantly or slightly depending on your country, your region, and your context. So without further ado, let's jump on to the 7 ways in which you can look at your Instagram creator journey and leverage that to make money. The first one, which actually contributes 0% to my income, and therefore it is important to call that out right up front, is actually the monetization tools which are available on Instagram. The first such tool which is available in most markets is subscriptions. I tried using subscriptions, enabled it a while ago for exclusive content, but I pretty much ended up making near zero money from it. I'm not too sure if India as a market is right now really favorable for you to make money off subscriptions. That's a significant source of revenue for a lot of creators, especially in the US. Maybe there are creators who found success with it. I haven't, so that's something which contributes 0% to my overall income. But I'm calling that out upfront because that's the most obvious Instagram monetization tool which is available in a lot of markets. The other one, which is not available in India yet, and I hope it comes soon, is various bonuses which are being associated with creating reels. There are spring bonuses and multiple other such experiments which are being done in the US market. Again, that contributes pretty much 0 to my income because that's not even a tool which is available at my disposal. The second bucket which I'm going to talk about, which is actually in contrast to the first one, my biggest bucket, and that contributes to roughly about 50% of what I earn in the year, which is pretty sizable, is brand collaborations. I thankfully so far have not needed to actively reach out to brands seeking brand collaborations. They've thankfully been coming my way, and I also need to therefore give you the disclaimer that it's taken me a while to get here. It's taken me 5 years of regular content creation, over 900 posts to be able to get so many brand deals coming my way. But I would say that's also one of the most unpredictable way of making money. You do not necessarily have them as a monthly salary, if you may, coming your way. Is there scope to increase that further? There is absolutely. But that in a way is also linked to the number of followers you have and the kind of reach you're able to give them. The third, which is not really using me as an influencer, and I hate that term, so not really leveraging my reach, but is still linked to brand work, is actually commissioned work. As of now, that contributes to only about 5% of my overall revenue. I do these only one-offs. What is the kind of commission work? If you're, let's say, an artist or an illustrator or a copywriter, you may end up getting brands to come to you and say, hey, can you ghostwrite, let's say, scripts for me? Or can you create these comics for me or create these illustrations for me? But I don't want you to share them on your profile. I want to just use them to grow my own social media, so therefore content for myself without really using your reach or leveraging your present followership. That's a small contribution to my overall revenue, but that's also because that's something I've not consciously sought. So some of you who are looking at illustration as a career, or for some of you who are adept at those tools which some of these brands seek, and are willing to discount it, because otherwise brands start asking why they can't just hire a designer or a copywriter to do those for them. So if you can be competitive in the price and want to build this as a big revenue stream, there's definitely a large scope here as well. The number 4, which is now beginning to be a reasonably big stream, and I don't think it's only got to do with the number of followers I have and the reach I get, but also, a sustained period of doing high quality content repeatedly, is licensing. Now, what is licensing? As some of you know, my first book recently got published called Monday to Friday. It was published by a famous publisher, which is Simon & Schuster, and therefore the book royalties, which is me sort of signing a book deal for them, is one way of licensing. There are other ways of earning royalties as well. If, let's say, your illustrations get converted to anything, if you partner with a certain merchandise creator, let's say somebody who's a famous socks maker, and they want to use your designs to make socks, or they want to, let's say, leverage your illustration or your comics to turn into, say, a web series, and that's where they want to license your scripts, your characters, your animation style, your illustration style. All of those are examples of licensing. This right now contributes to about 20% of my overall revenue. That's on the back of course, my book, but there's also a couple of other licensing deals which soon might be coming underway. The next one, which is also now a sizable chunk for me, is my own merchandise. Now, some of you know that I also have my own merchandise store, which is where I make fun corporate merchandise. These are badges, stickers, posters. I have an annual calendar, which now has become a ritual for me to launch for the last 2 years. I also recently launched my range of t-shirts as well. All my merchandise together contributes to roughly about 20% of my annual income. That's one revenue stream I think is extremely scalable as well, because right now I have made mostly organic pushes to grow this. I was not really going big on pushing it so far, also because I did not have the operations to even service a lot of these orders. Again, the disclaimer, people would want to buy your merchandise only after there is a certain followership or a certain love for your character, your comics, your illustrations, a certain brand. This takes a little bit of building a certain patronage before you're able to create your merchandise and sell. But once you have that, thanks to websites like Shopify, thanks to logistical partners like ShipRocket, the operational part of it is very easy nowadays to automate and streamline with very little manpower. The 6th one is actually consulting opportunities. Now, do note that once you've built a certain following on Instagram or any social media for that matter, you're not just a great illustrator, you're also somebody who understands the ropes of social media. You also understand various nuances of how to organically grow, and that's a skill which a lot of brands do not have and they constantly seek. So a lot of brands look at you to help them either create content or guide them to create content, or to also help them understand how social media really works, and to therefore handhold them a little till they're able to find their rhythm on social media too. I've not actively sought these, though I do think this is again a very, very big scalable revenue opportunity for me. But right now it's about 5% of my overall revenue. The 7th one, treat this as maybe a bonus one, because right now I don't make money off this one, but I hope this becomes scalable for me someday, is looking at other social media channels, especially YouTube. Now, a lot of you know that YouTube monetization is a lot more predictable, and there are various ways in which you get paid by YouTube. So while Instagram is still figuring out its monetization tools, YouTube has had them for a while. So if you can leverage your Instagram creator skills to start a YouTube channel, which is exactly what I'm doing, use your, let's say, Instagram might to build your YouTube might, and if that helps you make that journey faster on YouTube, then this could be another potential channel for you to look at. My channel is very, very new. I have just recently started it, but I do intend to constantly make videos about my process, about my Instagram journey, and about a lot of other things which I find important, such as the power of taking a career break, building your own side hustles. Also, a shameless plug here, if those are topics you're interested in, and if you think that you could benefit from learning about my journey as a creator, or in general want to understand my illustration process, if this resonates with you, I would love for you to subscribe as well. So again, just summarizing, here are the 7 ways in which you can make money on Instagram if you're a comic creator, an illustrator, a copywriter, or an artist on Instagram. As I said earlier, None of these are unknown to you. None of this is rocket science, but it was important for me to call all of these out and the percentages for me, for you to be able to get an idea on what could be the ones where you need to double click on and what could be the one which could be immediate low hanging fruits. And pardon me for using some of those extremely business jargons, blame it on my past day jobs. Thank you.